What's happening, fanatics? Welcome back to another episode of the Business Fanatic video series. And I'm your host, Dr. O. And in this episode, I'd like to introduce you to the concept of parallel thinking and the 6 thinking hats. And these are some of the most powerful business tools you've probably never heard of. And this short video will provide an overview of what parallel thinking and the 6 thinking hats are, and the great benefits of using them either by yourself or within a group. Now, the 6 thinking hats and parallel thinking were developed by Dr. Edward de Bono, who's the world's leading authority in creative and conceptual thinking. He's the author of over 70 books with translations into more than 38 languages. He's a world-renowned consultant to businesses and governments, as well as education. And almost 1 million people have been trained in his methods. So let's talk about traditional thinking, how most of us operate day to day, and how parallel thinking can help overcome the weakness of traditional thinking. Now, traditional thinking goes back to the famous Greek philosophers, Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, and they taught us about argument and critical thinking, about searching for the truth and attacking what's not true, as well as putting things into categories. And these constructs have defined how most of us in the West think, sometimes for good and sometimes for bad. Now, traditional thinking is typically about taking sides and arguing your point and trying to prove the other side is wrong and judging against perceptions or interpretations of a subject. And we really see this in politics, where most politicians are not working to improve for the betterment of everyone, but to attack the other side. And we also see this in courtrooms as the prosecutor and defender argue back and forth. And it's not about developing the best idea to improve the situation or finding the truth. It's only about defending their stance, no matter if it's wrong or right. Now, unfortunately, we see this carry over to how we conduct ourselves in business. And meetings become one side arguing and the other side defending themselves, instead of working together in parallel to create the best way forward. But there is a much better way. And this way is parallel thinking, which was created to overcome the limitations of traditional Western thinking. And parallel thinking is all about cooperation. It's about laying out different ideas together to get a full view of the subject or problem. And parallel thinking is concerned about what can be and using constructive and creative thinking to design the best way forward. Now, this is accomplished by focusing one thinking mode at a time, so everyone looks at the subject holistically from all directions. Unlike the scattergun approach of traditional thinking, where there are multiple things happening at the same time, parallel thinking avoids this multitasking and ensures there's focus on one thinking mode. Research has proven that our brains do not like to multitask, so it's much better to focus on one thing at a time and then move on. Now, parallel thinking moves us from an adversarial relationship to one of cooperation, where we're moving in the same direction towards the same goals. And parallel thinking improves cooperation, so everyone works together to find the best solution, not just the option that the person with the loudest voice or most seniority pushes through. So the 6 thinking hats, it's the main tool within parallel thinking to overcome the limitations of traditional thinking. So think of the 6 thinking hats like a set of tools, where each tool is used for a different purpose. For example, a trained mechanic would not use a screwdriver to remove a rusted bolt. And it's the same with the thinking hats. You use a specific hat for a specific purpose. Or think of the 6 thinking hats like a set of golf clubs, where each club has a specific purpose. You would not use a driver to putt, and this is the same with the 6 thinking hats. Each hat represents a different thinking mode that is used at a specific time. And the 6 thinking hats are 6 different metaphorical colored hats, which signify 6 different thinking modes. And each hat represents a different type of thinking. You operate exclusively in one mode of thinking at a time, And you don't jump back and forth like in traditional thinking. Each thinking mode is used for a specific time period, usually just a few minutes, and then you move on to the next hat. And the hats are not categories of people, and they do not represent types of thinkers, rather a direction and a focus of thinking. They're thinking modes which we all use at different times, sometimes one mode more than the other. And Dr. De Bono used metaphorical hats because it's easy to picture ourselves taking a hat off and putting on another hat. And hats signify different roles. For example, a construction worker has a different hat than a policeman. And we all know the saying, put your thinking cap on. The hats are a great visual way of thinking about each separate thinking mode. Now, the blue hat is like a traffic cop. She organizes the process, sets the agenda, and ensures the rules are observed and everyone's moving in the proper direction. The white hat is about information, what you have and what you need to get. It's about reevaluating the accuracy and relevance of the information, as well as looking at everyone's point of view. The red hat allows everyone a specific time to share their feelings about the subject. No explanation is needed. You just tell everyone quickly how you feel. And feelings are a key part of decision making, so it's critical to get them shared. The yellow hat focuses on the benefits of the subject. Everyone needs to also consider both the short-term and long-term benefits and what's feasible. And the black hat is the most important hat, but often the most overused hat. It's about pointing out dangers and concerns, problems and difficulties, or areas that are not logical. It's about discussing potential problems. The black hat allows everyone to question and be skeptical. So picture the black hat like the black robe that a judge wears. Now, the green hat allows for a specific time to develop new ideas. And using systematic and deliberate tools and techniques, the green hat allows everyone an opportunity for creative thinking. Under the green hat, everyone needs to be developing alternative ideas and new possibilities and concepts. Now, within the 6 thinking hats, there are 2 main roles during a session. The blue hat is the facilitator and manages the process. Think of the blue hat as the conductor in an orchestra. The conductor does not play any instruments, but coordinates the different individual musicians. The facilitator defines the focus of the thinking, plans the sequence and timing of the thinking, handles any changes requested from the group, and develops summaries of the thinking so the team can evaluate and discuss. And the blue hat is typically the most experienced person within the 6 thinking hats. And participants in the session follow the lead of the blue hat. Participants have to play by the rules of the game, and everyone has to stick to the specific hat that is being used. Only that specific thinking mode can be used at a time. And participants also have to work within the specific time limits for each hat, typically just a few minutes per hat. And this time constraint is a key strength of the hats, ensuring the discussion is focused and efficient. And most importantly, every participant has to contribute honestly and fully to each hat. And if someone really likes the subject or idea that's under discussion, that person also has to provide some black hat concerns, not just the yellow hat benefits. So that's it. It's really simple and powerful tool to rethink how you think. You know, parallel thinking is about working together to create a better solution. It's about overcoming the weaknesses of traditional Western thinking. And the 6 thinking hats allow you to focus on one thinking mode at a time. And it allows you to switch between each thinking mode at a specific time. The 6 thinking hats allow for full colored thinking, so all perspectives are covered. And it also ensures that everyone uses each hat. The process provides a roadmap and a direction for everyone to follow in a short amount of time. And the days of unproductive meetings are over. The 6 thinking hats can shorten most meetings by up to 50%. And it's all about participation and improved teamwork and cooperation by using everyone's diverse experiences and perspectives to achieve the best outcome. So, if you think parallel thinking and the 6 thinking hats is what you and your organization need to be more productive and creative, please contact me so we can discuss how I can help you rethink how you think.